I'm cut and paste here some very tiny bits of what we call the inter-authorship group process agreement, really, which people sign up to at the beginning of a project. Now, it's not a legal document, it's not a contract, but it basically briefs people of the way that we're working, so that people are very aware of what they're coming into. And these, you know, I won't read all this through, but basically there's a few key things in here which have come up a few times in the last few days, actually. And one of the main ones, I think, is this respect of experience and respect of topicality, freshness will be given equal weighting. So what we're talking about there is that actually maturity and experience is absolutely key, but so is youthful freshness and new ideas coming in. And I'm very clear about that within group work, that if I'm working with a lot of big international, big name artists in groups with new younger ones coming in, we're keeping that in a flattened hierarchy at all times. The other one, actually a top liner, and these I think are very common sense, is that everybody in a group is in a creative position, and that includes the technical crew, the production staff, etc. So this is another cut and paste from this, and this process was created with the groups we've worked with across 6 years in the mid-90s, with groups from all over Europe, and actually it hasn't hardly changed since then, and it is a very commonsensical process. But we pool ideas, we create content pools, we use this weave metaphor, and I think here probably the other one is just the fact, and this is probably pretty norm, but actually in a performing arts process this is quite different. We have always threaded debate through practice throughout the whole thing too. So this is on the web, and I can give you stuff afterwards. I published it last year on request. We've had a lot of good feedback on this process across the years. And in fact now I think from putting this up front that people sign before they go into a group inter-authorship project is a very important factor. I just want to emphasise that. I've had working with a lot of intercultural groups, particularly, it builds trust from the beginning of a project. And there's no way that I do group projects with 30 people and at the end of it say it's mine. It is always under these group names, and it always signed up in that way. And actually the participants go to in A to Z order. So this is an example of a breakdown within that structure. So this is quite a large project. This was a 2-year project, Future Physical, where we commissioned 25 new pieces, mainly around the body at the centre of digital interaction. And this was a team of about 18 of us that worked across that period. And we split it into what we call pods or cells, so that everybody is actually included in this central line, in one of these, like the more coordination, finance, production, but also will be in a theme line and in a form line. So you've actually got a group that's crossing over between different small committees, really, pod structures, which actually weaves your whole team back in together again. And this works very well for us in bigger projects, and we need to actually really make clear that we can't do everything all the time in one group. We have to split out into smaller groups to make it happen. So as you can see, we're striving very hard to maintain flattened hierarchies, and still at the same time trying to continue to keep it to be a porous network to allow clustered interaction to happen and things to come on board fluidly. And that isn't easy, but I think these two keywords we keep in our heads all the time. What we work with is a huge amount of planning and a detailed structuring to allow us to be informal and fluid within that once the project's on the go. And that, again, is about setting up a trust structure. That people actually know they're going to get their dinner, they've got their bed, people are going to be doing that bit, etc., and can flow into the creative process and get on with the work, really, in a way which is a bit more relaxing, maybe. So, and hopefully has positive results coming through. One of the issues in this work, of course, and this is something I'm going to talk about very little now because we need to move on, but is something which I've just been writing about recently, and I'd really like some feedback on this, is the whole concept of I and we within group work, and actually how I think we're at a point in time where we all need to really seriously look at how we use the word I and how we use the word we. And I'm really well aware that even for myself, I have to catch myself on it quite a few times. There's a double speak in there, and in shallow collaborations, what I call fake collectivization, which I think we see a lot of around today, actually, groups that call themselves under a collective name but actually aren't really working collective processes. There is not an accurate reflection in the working conditions there within. The I and the we is often very muddled. So you've probably all been in a meeting with several people who are all saying we round the table, and then gone outside and heard somebody just say, I did this, I did that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And there is, I think, it's something we all need to catch ourselves on and think about in the in our own discourse and how we're dealing with how we think about things. It's particularly relevant, I think, for those of us over 40. I think we're caught in a mixture between a Thatcher generation and the new collectivisation. So my younger team never have any problems with it, but I definitely have to catch myself out on it, and Armand I catch out lots of times too. So we do a lot of VJing and projects, and so we stick to a lot of things around we, you, I, and actually so I think I've missed a slide here. Anyway, but this was just a little move. Where have I gone to here? Here. I was going to show you this one. This is another, two little phrases that I always keep running in my head on this. Linking to the I, we, and also linking to the sense of the other within yourself. And the top one, I am another yourself, is a really nice phrase. It's an old Inca greeting. Instead of hello, nice to meet you, it's like, I am another yourself. And I think that's fantastic. I really love that phrase because it's actually about the reflection of the other in yourself and recognising yourself as other, which is what the bottom phrase is, which is, I think, a Homer Barber phrase, which is everyone is somebody's other, and remembering that all the time within group work situations is very important. So I'm working a lot with interculturalism, so this recognition of difference and sameness is very important within the I-we-ness of group processes. And again, it comes down to trust within those situations, that nobody is going to gain control or take ownership because of some kind of hierarchical structure which is in the base of all our heads, whether it's race, culture, gender, whatever. So, and this was just, I was just going to show you this really quickly, and I don't think it's going to play now, is it? Having mucked it up, probably. Yeah. We're doing Left Field Tent next week at Glastonbury, so I just wanted to show a little bit of the live work. We're doing a massive amount of audio-visual work, and we take it from the content pool out into numerous different projects. So it might be a VJ project, might be large installs, it might be permanent installs into architecture. But the base of the work is on the body, is on interculturalism, on diversity, and on the concept of getting people to start to relate to mediated image of the body and start to learn more about how you reflect from the physical to the virtual, yourself and the other, and the kinetic responses within that. So bringing that back to my key themes of the work, which are looking at telepresence and teleintuition, that's the base of where we come from on that. So we go off to Glastonbury next week to do the Left Field Tent, which slightly dreading, but especially if it rains, but that's to show a little bit of what we're up to now. So that's BodyDataSpace. We're based in London Bridge. There's a couple of other sites on the bottom here which I can give cards out on. The connectivity site is the Shinkansen Future Physical Archive at the British Library, which was the 15 years work I did before BodyDataSpace. The Middlesex site is my research work on virtual physical body and interauthorship. And the Creative User site is a project done by Future Physical on the participation of the public within interactive installation work.